Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another great episode of Searching for Service. I am Joe Kirk, and with me,
I'm Chad Larson.
And we are the two hosts of the show, and we get to bring amazing guests and talk about service and how we think Rotary is the best vehicle for providing service for those and service opportunities for those looking for service. Today, we are lucky enough to be joined by John Bodette. He's a member and past president of Rotary of St. Cloud. And he's going to be talking to us today about Summertime by George and an update on Preschool for Success. So thanks so much for being on the show, John.
Joe, Chad, thanks for having me on. I'm up here at Madden's for a tri-district conference meeting, and you'd be happy to know there's ice still on some of the lakes, and it's raining and cold.
Hopefully for not too long.
No golf for you.
Yeah, getting better, though, as we go. Well, thanks for joining us. So, just tell us a little bit about how you first started and got involved with Rotary, and how long ago was that?
It's about 10 years now. I'm retired now, but in my previous life, I was the executive editor of the St. Cloud Times and Times Media. And there was always a tradition in St. Cloud that the editor would be a member of Rotary, the downtown club, as it's called. And so when I was promoted to executive editor, one of the first calls I had was from Mike Mullen of our club saying, "Okay, we want you to join Rotary." And I said, "Mike, I tell you what, let me figure this job out for a little bit, and I'll get back to you. I will join." 5 years later, I called Mike back and I said, "Mike, I'm ready now." And so I did join, and it's been wonderful, absolutely wonderful experience. Being involved in so many projects that our club does, and meeting wonderful fellow Rotarians, many of whom I knew when I was the editor, but it was a lot different, especially after I retired, just to get to know them on as a Rotarians, as opposed to newsmakers. And, so it's been wonderful. And the projects that our club has done, whether it's the Cop House, whether it's Preschool for Success, whether it's Pathways for Youth, whether it's Summertime by George, it's just so satisfying to be able to give back to the community. And just recently, we started our St. Cloud Interact Club, and I know you did a podcast with the two officers.
Yes.
And now that club has grown to more than 45 members, high school students from Tech and Apollo High School in St. Cloud. So,
yeah, they were really excited about the expansion, and what a great update to hear that they are now at 45 members. I think that when we spoke to them, they were at 20, 25, and it was all Apollo, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Right. Right, but they're now up to about 6 members from Tech.
Good.
And they're all looking forward to volunteering at Summertime by George this summer. So we'll have 45 more volunteers who can help out at the concerts.
They mentioned that event pretty much all the time during that as a real big catalyst for them. So,
well, here's the thing. For high school students to be with their buddies, and, we give them food vouchers, and there's great music, and they're outside. What's not to like, really?
Yeah, exactly. That's what summers in Minnesota are about.
Yeah, we're excited to hear more about that later in the show. But let's get back to you for a second.
Sure.
Have you been Minnesota born and raised the whole time, or?
No, actually, I grew up in Detroit. Came out to go to college at St. John's. Yeah. Met my wife at St. Ben's. And she said, when we were engaged, there are 3 places I'll live: Minnesota, and St. Cloud. That sounds great. And so I did, and was involved with the Times for more than 40 years.
Wow. How did it, once you got involved with Rotary, what were some of the first, whether it was roles that you took on or projects that you took on that really kind of got you involved on the serving side?
One of the first things that I did was co-chair the program committee with Janelle Kendall, who's the county attorney in Stearns County. Now, you can imagine that the executive editor of the paper and the county attorney may have butted heads a little bit, perhaps, over issues, both of us doing our jobs. Yep. But it was a great experience. And we got to know and work with each other on the lining up programs, a year's worth of programs. We did that for about 5 years, I think. And I think it's just a great example about how Rotary brings people together
Yeah.
in service. And I always remember, too, I would call somebody to ask them to do a Rotary program. And I would call and I would say, "Hi, this is John Bodette, the executive editor of the St. Cloud Times." And they go, "Yeah.
What did I
I'd
do?
like to
What did you
invite
dig
I'd
up?
like to invite you to speak to Rotary." "Oh, yeah." And then the mood changed quite a bit.
I bet. A little different conversation.
What a great oh, sorry to cut you off, but what a great first thing to be really part of is, for those that are listening that don't understand what the programming committee does, is a lot of times the clubs will have a speaker come and speak to the club, and the programming committee is the one that puts all that on. So it's a heavy lift, and it's a good one in that the fact that you got to understand what your club needs to hear and listen, and what's important to the community. And so it's a big role. That was a big one to take on right away.
It was, but it was a great way to really get involved. I always urge new members to get on a committee of some sort in projects. Our goal with the programs committee was always to have people go back to their office or business or whatever it is and be able to say, "Guess what I heard at Rotary today?" People invest their time, come to the meetings, but if we're able to give them a program that will challenge, inspire, or entertaining. One of the best programs we ever had was Joe Hodge, the director of the Guthrie Theater, came and talked, and he was amazing. We just had an astronaut, and that was great fun. Here were two of the questions that he received. Do you think there are aliens out there? Our high school student asked that, the junior Rotarian. And he said he doesn't know one way or the other, but they would be sure and tell everybody if they did. And the other question was Star Trek or Star Wars? And he was a Star Wars person. So lively stuff.
That's great. So as you kind of evolved, where did you're obviously involved with Summertime by George, but also with the Preschool for Success. How did you kind of get into that?
Preschool for Success started with one of our members puts together what he calls an evening of erudition each year, where he picks a book or a series of articles or something, and a bunch of us get together and then just have one evening of talking about it. And the particular thing that he chose was the thing about achievement gaps. And we got quite fired up about that topic and talked to Willie Jett, who was the superintendent of St. Cloud Schools at the time. He's now the commissioner of education. And he said, you really have to think about it, that it's not an achievement gap, it's an access and opportunity gap. And he talked about the ones he worry about the most, what he calls his little babies, the little 3 and 4 year olds who never get a chance to go to preschool and are behind from the beginning because their parents can't afford it.
Yeah.
So then we got together and as a club, and had great cooperation from the school district and put together Preschool for Success. The first year, we only had 22 children we're able to do because of transportation issues and space. This year, and I'm glad to have this opportunity to update you, Joe and Chad, we started the year with 96 3 and 4 year olds.
Wow.
All 96 are still in preschool.
That's fantastic. Well, and we'll get more into Preschool for Success in the next section, but it's exciting to hear that it's grown and that it's taken off. And, can you talk a little bit about how you got introduced to Summertime by George?
Yes. Well, everybody in the club is expected to volunteer at least 4 or 5 times. And at the time we had 12 concerts every Wednesday for 12 weeks. And I remember being there the very first year of Summertime by George. And the crowds were small, 300-400 people maybe. And a rickety bandstand we borrowed from the city at Lake George. And but by the end of the first season, we'd had more than 40,000 people there, and it took off from there. But I remember the second week, which was the week that the St. Cloud Times sponsored, it just poured rain. I thought, boy, I don't know if this is going to work. But it did. And I will tell you how that started. It's a great story. Our club in the city worked together to improve Lake George, the park in that area there. At the time, it was shabby. It was dangerous. We helped together millions of dollars, and it's a gem of a park. Two Rotarians, Dave Tripp and the late Mark Christensen, were in a bar after work and said, we got this great venue now. We should have some entertainment. And on a bar napkin, they wrote, "Free concert series, Summertime by George." The rest is history. We've had more than 1.2 million people have been to Summertime over the 12 years.
How awesome is that? Bars and garages seem to be the best places for great ideas.
That's for sure.
Is it true?
Yeah.
Honest. And so many great ideas are on bar napkins, and that's just one of them.
That's right. Well, we're excited to hear more about Preschool for Success in our next segment, but we're going to go ahead and break here. So I'm Joe Kirk.
And I'm Chad Larson.
And you're listening to Searching for Service. Rotary is a place for all community-minded people who want to serve their areas with the support of an international organization. Join Rotary to find service. Join Rotary to find inclusion. Join Rotary to find leadership. Join Rotary to find fun. Join Rotary to find friendship. Join Rotary to find a better version of the world. Find a Rotary Club near you at Rotary.org and click on Club Finder. There is a club out there for everyone. Find your fit with Rotary. Rotary.org.
For decades, eradicating polio worldwide has been Rotary's cornerstone cause. We are incredibly close to ridding the globe of this virus, but we need everyone's help to get us to the goal. World Polio Day is October 24th. Please consider making a new donation to Polio Plus or increasing your already generous giving. Go to endpolio.org to be a part of this historical eradication of polio. You will help get vaccinations to the most remote parts of our world and help fulfill a promise we made to end polio now. 2 drops, and it stops.
Don't miss Leonard Skinner, Darius Rucker, REO Speedwagon, and Tyler Hubbard at Lakefront Music Fest, July 14th and 15th at Lakefront Park in Prior Lake. Leonard Skinner headlines July 14th with REO Speedwagon and Blackstone Cherry. Darius Rucker headlines July 15th with Tyler Hubbard of Florida Georgia Line and Joe Nichols. Tickets available at lakefrontmusicfest.com. That's lakefrontmusicfest.com. Produced by Prior Lake Rotary.
Riverbend Nature Center is a free, nonprofit natural habitat in Faribault, Minnesota, with 743 acres, the Straight River, and 10 miles of trails. Despite no public funding, it offers educational programs to almost 10,000 youth and families annually. Riverbend seeks your feedback on its new strategic plan at rbnc.org/strategic-planning by March 30th. Thank you for your time.
Hey, welcome back to Searching for Service. I'm Joe Kirk, and with me,
Chad Larson.
And we are talking to John Bodette, member and past president of the Rotary Club of St. Cloud. And he's talking to us today about Summertime by George and an update on Preschool for Success. Now, we kind of hit on it in the last segment, but let's just go right into Preschool for Success, because it was really exciting to hear the number of students that you've been able to help drastically increase. And then obviously, Chad and I were talking off air here and saying, our club has instituted our version of Preschool for Success. And so it is starting to permeate into other parts of the district, which is really exciting, and it's got to feel fulfilling for you guys. So I'll just let you take it from there. Give us a little bit more of an update on where you're at and, where we hope to see it go too.
Yeah, especially on the district level too.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, District Governor Lloyd Campbell had the vision to say, this is a very successful project in St. Cloud. And he put together a task force to look at possible signature projects for District 5950. And after that long process, they decided that Preschool for Success would be the one that would be, it had a proven track record in St. Cloud. It was something that met an important need in each of the club areas. And so we were off and running. And he asked me to help to promote and guide along, which we did. I think this first year, clubs had already set their budgets, had already set their priorities and stuff. And this came towards the third quarter of the Rotary year. And so a lot of it for most clubs was kind of in the research thing, getting to know the school officials, getting to know the barriers to the children getting into preschool, looking at the opportunities, looking at staffing, looking at transportation, looking at space. So as we go into the second year now after July 1, we're looking forward for more examples. A success story is the St. Louis Park Noontime and the St. Louis Park Morning Clubs pooled resources together, was able to get a district matching grant. And with that money, they're doing two things. The first thing is they are allowing some preschool children who had to be taken out of school because their parents couldn't afford the little bit that the family has to pay for the scholarship.
Yeah.
And so I think there were 13 students, because of the grant, are now back in preschool. Can you imagine if you're a 3 or 4-year-old and you're being told, I'm sorry, you can't be with your friends here now anymore in preschool?
Oh my gosh.
And that comes up. I've talked to some other clubs they're going to use some of their preschool for success money to keep those kids in school, or be able to have a sibling come in who the family may not be able to afford the tuition, the scholarship. And then the second thing is they are going to fund a summer program, a summer pre-K program for, I think, 20 students or something. And that's what they're using some of the other matching grant money for. Tremendous stuff. I mean, I know in St. Cloud, they're going to look to try to start a 6-week summer program next year because in St. Cloud, even though we were able to put 96 children in there, there's still a waiting list of 140 children who can't get into preschool because their parents can't afford it.
Oh my goodness.
So the need is out there. So for the clubs who are thinking about doing this, you know me now. You can contact me, but you can go to the district website, District 5950's website, and up there in the blue bar, you'll see PreK, and has all the resource information you need. How do you put together the program? Frequently asked questions, several videos that we put together. And then the other part of this that I think is so rewarding for Rotarians, every one of these things needs to have a boots on the ground element.
Mm-hmm.
Using our club, for example, and I'm sure, Joe, your club has done the same thing. We helped set up bookcases and helped arrange the rooms for preschool.
Mm-hmm.
We go in and read to the kids. In fact, our Interact Club, our new Interact Club with the high school students, 13 of them went in and read to the 3 and 4-year-olds. Although they reported to me that, yes, we read, but we also played games. The kids really wanted to play games. Is that a surprise to you?
You gotta have fun.
Got to have fun. And we also donated watercolor paints because that's what the teachers told us that they needed. And some of our Rotarians went in and did a watercolor project with them. In fact, some of our folks went in and made gingerbread houses over the holidays. Can you imagine how much fun that must have been?
Oh my gosh.
I was told that they were just covered with icing from head to toe.
You know, John, it reminds me. So it's nice because I mean we've had oh my gosh, who did we have on?
Gayla Holmgren.
Yeah, thank you, Gayla Holmgren on earlier,
Yeah,
and it's been fun.
From our club on preschool.
Like one of the gifts of this show has been we get to see things over time, and you know one of the things that I really took away from that interview, and again with what you're saying is. You got to be a little patient too, because it does take a little bit of time to research, to figure out the right resources, what the need is in whatever specific community that you're in. So, you know, a really nice piece of advice that I'm kind of hearing for all of these clubs that are really gearing up to take this on is to be a little patient, lean on the resources that are out there. And then it's really fun to watch your program evolving as these other programs are starting. So, you know, you're always going to be a nice benchmark for somebody that's starting or going because you're kind of already ahead of the game. I just think that that's so great. And you guys should really be proud of what you've started because it's this little spark that seems to have caught a little bit of fire. And hopefully it's a, 4-alarm fire in the next few years. And, we're not seeing these large numbers. I mean, that number, 150 kids that can't get into preschool. I mean,
yeah.
that's unacceptable. Like to me, like that just seems unacceptable.
And Willie Jett, who is now the education commissioner, when he was the school superintendent in St. Cloud, he said, John, these children are not getting to the starting line. They're like 100 yards behind the starting line. And, when I had the fun of going into one of our preschool classes a couple weeks ago with Gayla, actually, to deliver the paints. And so there's like 15 children. It's orderly. They're learning letters. They're learning to get all this stuff. I mean, it melted my heart to see this, thinking that if Rotary had not helped these children, these kids would not be there learning letters, learning numbers, having fun with their friends. It's, what better things can you do?
And the thing that shocks me is, like, if they start behind, they stay behind.
Yeah.
And in fact, actually that gap begins to widen depending if, like, those lack of resources continue in the summer, or all of a sudden they're light years behind the kids that are in their class. And I mean, that can't be good for building social ties, community involvement. It's got to break down all the things.
As we talk about this, I mean, these young people are our future. Mm-hmm. And the money that we invest in this now is going to pay wonderful dividends for that child going through. And the other thing, Joe and Chad, I tell clubs when I'm talking to them about this, even if you're able to raise from your members or from outside people in the community $1,000 or $2,000 and you get one child in preschool, that's a huge success.
Completely.
That's a big deal. So you don't have to, St. Cloud lucked out and we were able to get 96 kids in preschool. Not every club, especially the smaller clubs that I talk to. I mean, St. Cloud has 138 club, but still it can be done. And it's so important for these young people.
How else can people get involved? Obviously, we talked about on the club level setting this up, and you got a model, getting and being active, donating. What are the other ways, or all the ways people can get involved, whether their club has already taken this on or if they haven't?
Well, one of the things that we did, you try to get the word out, because not all the families, especially those that are, just struggling to put food on the table and stuff, know about preschool programs. So we had at the Boys and Girls Clubs a thing where we gave out bags with books and other sort of stuff to families. I think we gave away 500 bags. So 500 families came to learn more about Preschool for Success and about preschool. And that was a big help. I think the other thing too is a lot of clubs think just in terms of, well, we have to raise whatever money just within our club members. Well, you go out and you tell this story in your community, you're going to find a lot of generosity from not just people in the community, businesses and others. And that's a really good way to do it. You may find a donor out there who would be doing a match and stuff. We had donations of $20,000 from one company in town and $10,000 from another. I mean, they get it.
Yeah.
And but all you have to do is go out and ask. And sometimes we get shy about asking.
Yeah.
No, that's actually really good. Yeah, just ask.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Well, and also this is a great story to tell the community. Everybody's worrying about where are we going to get increased membership, where are we going to get increased involvement. Well, this is something that your club stands for. It's an important way to help better the community. I'll tell you, Summertime by George is one of the best recruiting tools ever for Rotary. Because all you have to do is say, hey, we're the club that does Summertime by George. They go, okay.
Oh, yeah. It's almost like we cued you. Like, these are perfect segues into our lead outs of our segment, and we'll get right into Summertime by George.
You two are excellent. I'm receiving the mind faxes that you're sending me, and I just say, okay, transition, here we go.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. So we'll talk in the next segment here about Summertime by George, how you guys are involved and how people can be involved in it. So I'm Joe Kirk, and with me,
Chad Larson.
And you're listening to Searching for Service. Rotary is a place for all community-minded people who want to serve their areas with the support of an international organization. Join Rotary to find service. Join Rotary to find inclusion. Join Rotary to find leadership. Join Rotary to find fun. Join Rotary to find friendship. Join Rotary to find a better version of the world. Find a Rotary Club near you at Rotary.org and click on Club Finder. There is a club out there for everyone. Find your fit with Rotary. Rotary.org.
For decades, eradicating polio worldwide has been Rotary's cornerstone cause. We are incredibly close to ridding the globe of this virus, but we need everyone's help to get us to the goal. World Polio Day is October 24th. Please consider making a new donation to Polio Plus or increasing your already generous giving. Go to endpolio.org to be a part of this historical eradication of polio. You will help get vaccinations to the most remote parts of our world and help fulfill a promise we made to end polio now. 2 drops, and it stops.
Don't miss Leonard Skinner, Darius Rucker, REO Speedwagon, and Tyler Hubbard at Lakefront Music Fest, July 14th and 15th at Lakefront Park in Prior Lake. Leonard Skinner headlines July 14th with REO Speedwagon and Blackstone Cherry. Darius Rucker headlines July 15th with Tyler Hubbard of Florida Georgia Line and Joe Nichols. Tickets available at lakefrontmusicfest.com. That's lakefrontmusicfest.com. Produced by Prior Lake Rotary.
Riverbend Nature Center is a free, nonprofit natural habitat in Faribault, Minnesota, with 743 acres, the Straight River, and 10 miles of trails. Despite no public funding, it offers educational programs to almost 10,000 youth and families annually. Riverbend seeks your feedback on its new strategic plan at rbnc.org/strategic-planning by March 30th. Thank you for your time.
Hey, welcome back to Searching for Service. I'm Joe Kirk, and with me,
Chad Larson.
and we are interviewing John Bodette, and we're talking about, we just got done talking about preschool for success, and I mean, I think that we really did a great job of, understanding how that's being extremely successful, not only at the St. Cloud Rotary level, but also at the district level. Excited,
really spreading.
Yeah, exciting to see how that one's spreading. But now we have an opportunity to talk about probably your largest fundraiser of the year, as I'm guessing, and a really great fixture for the community, the Summertime by George. So take it away. Talk to us a little bit about what it is and how it got started.
Absolutely. Well, as we talked earlier, it started because the club had helped to improve the Lake George Park area and everything, and then we decided that we should have some sort of an entertainment series there. And our 2 Rotarians sitting in a bar drew it on a napkin and said, "Summertime by George, free concert series." We now are about to start our 12th year on June 14th. Some new things this year. Well, anyway. It's free concerts, okay?
Yeah.
So it's the ideal price point in your community, free. And,
works.
you know, I take that seriously because for a lot of people, they will tell me, they will tell us as Rotarians, thank you so much for doing this. This is the only entertainment I can afford all week. I can bring my kids here.
Yeah.
We can hear these top quality bands that I'd have to pay $25 or $30 to hear them at the Paramount or at Pioneer Place. And it has grown into such an integral part of our community. It's amazing. So this year, first concert is June 14th. The opening band is Johnny Home Band, which everybody loves because Johnny had played at their high school sock hops or their cousins' weddings.
Still
or whatever.
kicking it.
Yeah, I was telling him I heard him in college a couple of times. And
Exactly.
since, but
There you go. And then we're doing 8 concerts this year. And so we're skipping the 4th of July week, and we're skipping the first week in August where the Benton County Fair is on, and that kind of competes. But we also are having, for the first time, supersized nights, which means that on June 28th and August 16th, we're having 2 main acts. And that's going to be a big deal. So it'll start, first main act starts at 5, and second main act will end at 9:15. Let me talk about what this means to Rotary and to the community, to our club. In order to pull something like this off, I mean, we go there about 10:30 in the morning, start setting it up, and we have about 70 volunteers from our club. We have about 15 volunteers from our St. Cloud Rotaract Club. They handle the tavern. And then starting this year, we'll have up to 45 volunteers from our St. Cloud Interact Club, which are our high school students.
Yep.
And they enjoy this immensely, as we all do. So you have Rotarians, you have on selling popcorn, doing the trash, handling the stage duties, selling water and soda. We have probably about 50 vendors in the food trucks and all kinds of stuff in the marketplace area. So for those small businesses, this is a big deal. This is their summer big boost to their bottom line. We have community groups who come. We have great relations with the police, the fire departments in St. Cloud, Stearns County Sheriff. the EMTs. I mean, it's like setting up a ginormous event, and then it's all taken and put away by 9:30.
Once a week.
Once a week.
Yeah.
And it's just great to see the way everybody pitches in. It is great promotion for Rotary. Okay. So I put my orange shirt on here so y'all could see. All the Rotarians wear orange shirts, the Interactors wear blue, and the Rotaractors wear maroon. But it is a great way to promote your club in the community. And now because I don't want to forget this, and also I'm the assistant governor for one of these clubs. Alexandria this summer is going to have their first concert series in July and August. They're having 3 of them. They're opening their first act as the Armadillos. They have been planning this for a year, and I think it's going to be a huge success. And of course, Wilmer is going to have their concert series again this summer too.
Did you guys help them through those processes to get this going?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Wilmer studied us for a while. I think they're probably in about their 5th year. And then Alexandria has really worked with us, and it's been helpful to give them advice and stuff, but they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
One of the other things is we're able to pull this off because we have corporate sponsors. I think this year we're up to about 35 or 40 corporate sponsors who pay for the bands, pay for the different areas. One of the things that really I'm so proud of that our club does, we have sign language interpreters on stage. And the hearing impaired community always sits in the same place right by the stage. To them, it's a huge, wonderful event. How many concerts have you gone to where you have sign language interpreters there to help that part of our community enjoy the concert and the music?
Yeah, really increasing the access.
It's what Rotary is all about. This year, apparently, is going to be a petting zoo, which is new. The Interactors are going to have a booth where they're going to sell cotton candy and our first Summertime by George official cookie.
Oh, all right.
Each year, you're trying to come up with things that are new and different and wonderful. The other thing I want to add is if you come to the concert, you'll see a beautiful stage. Well, it wasn't always like that. In the early days, it was a rickety old bandstand that we borrowed from the city, and it was terrible to set up. I'm surprised it didn't collapse. In fact, Troy Fritz, who used to handle the stage duties for like 11 years, would tell band members, "Don't step here, you might fall through." But thanks to the generosity of the club, and we built a huge performance stage, and bands love it. And so in the park, that wonderful stage that's used year-round by groups and everything from Juneteenth to Somali Independence Day celebrations and stuff, that stage was put together by the Rotary Club of St. Cloud.
Well, I tell you what, something that I always do in our interviews is I look for kind of the consistent, like, connective tissue amongst what we've been talking about. And, the big value for our listeners and for people that are part of clubs out there that are not St. Cloud is if you're looking to model something, reach out to the St. Cloud Rotary Club, because you guys have got at least 2 great models, one for fundraising and one for serving. So
and go see it.
And go see it. Yeah,
exactly. See it in person and then experience it.
Yeah, I really think, the quality of the bands this year, as it is every year, we just go out of our way to get the best possible bands that we can. The other thing that's happened is we've kind of generated a big concert thing in the St. Cloud area. You've got the Ledge in Wade Park. Sauk Rapids now has free concert things on Wednesday night on the river. They have a much smaller venue, but still. And you know what? It's great for the local, for our musicians, our regional musicians, to come and play before 10, 15, 20,000 people. What could be nicer? And for some of them, they can drive home and still tuck the kids in bed afterward.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean,
but here's the other thing. The money that we make from Summertime by George has helped fund our signature projects. We're all about signature projects instead of little stuff. And so the Cop House, which we helped create, the community outpost on the south side, money for that project came from Summertime by George. Pathways for Youth, which I was one of the 4 people that helped create that. That money came from donations from our foundation that's helped funded through Summertime by George. All these things to help. Pathways for Youth is a youth resource center for youth 18 to 24. And that met the need that after the 4 of us spent a year researching, doing interviews. They told us the biggest need in the community was for a youth resource center that had all the things, everything from food to working with caseworkers, everything in one place. And we were able to pull that off with the club. So, Rotarians are people of action. And these are ways that, but the other thing too is that we've challenged ourselves. I think we've had great presidents. I wasn't so good because I was during the pandemic. I was the only president that did all my meetings on Zoom.
That's a tough year to get.
But the vision of the club presidents and stuff to really tackle and challenge these things. And, it's a great way for your club to have visibility in your community and to really show people that this is something that helps better the community. A short story. One of my editors, she told me that she went to her hairdresser, where all news in town really emanates.
Right.
And the hairdresser said, I'm sort of new to town, and I heard about all these things, Summertime by George, Pathways for Youth, the Cop House. I thought the city did those. Yeah. Now I find out it's the St. Cloud Rotary Club that does all that stuff. Now, what could you better than that?
That's as good of commercial or marketing as you could get.
Yeah, that's really fantastic. Really quick, we got about 30 seconds. Share what you're most proud of with Summertime by George.
It brings the community together. Mm-hmm. You walk around Summertime by George. I had the high school students tell me this last year. I said, what'd you like best about this? Well, I'm meeting people I never would have met before.
There you go.
And one of my friends, he's a big deal executive in town. He says, you know what? I'm in my office most of the day. I come out here. He was doing parking duty, the worst of all. And he goes, I really feel like I'm in the middle of community when I'm here at Summertime by George. The first couple especially, it's like, hey, we made it through the winter, and it's like a big celebration. The community's just happy to see everybody again. That's what I'm most proud of.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And we're going to actually take a break here. So I'm Joe Kirk.
And I'm Chad Larson.
And we're listening to Searching for Service. Rotary is a place for all community-minded people who want to serve their areas with the support of an international organization. Join Rotary to find service. Join Rotary to find inclusion. Join Rotary to find leadership. Join Rotary to find fun. Join Rotary to find friendship. Join Rotary to find a better version of the world. Find a Rotary Club near you at Rotary.org and click on Club Finder. There is a club out there for everyone. Find your fit with Rotary. Rotary.org.
For decades, eradicating polio worldwide has been Rotary's cornerstone cause. We are incredibly close to ridding the globe of this virus, but we need everyone's help to get us to the goal. World Polio Day is October 24th. Please consider making a new donation to Polio Plus or increasing your already generous giving. Go to endpolio.org to be a part of this historical eradication of polio. You will help get vaccinations to the most remote parts of our world and help fulfill a promise we made to end polio now. 2 drops, and it stops.
Don't miss Leonard Skinner, Darius Rucker, REO Speedwagon, and Tyler Hubbard at Lakefront Music Fest, July 14th and 15th at Lakefront Park in Prior Lake. Leonard Skinner headlines July 14th with REO Speedwagon and Blackstone Cherry. Darius Rucker headlines July 15th with Tyler Hubbard of Florida Georgia Line and Joe Nichols. Tickets available at lakefrontmusicfest.com. That's lakefrontmusicfest.com. Produced by Prior Lake Rotary.
Riverbend Nature Center is a free, nonprofit natural habitat in Faribault, Minnesota, with 743 acres, the Straight River, and 10 miles of trails. Despite no public funding, it offers educational programs to almost 10,000 youth and families annually. Riverbend seeks your feedback on its new strategic plan at rbnc.org/strategic-planning by March 30th. Thank you for your time.
Hey, welcome back to Searching for Service. Appreciate you sticking with us. I'm Joe Kirk, and with me,
it's Chad Larson.
And today we have John Bodette. And we have been talking about Preschool for Success and Summertime by George. And now we get into what we really love is our favorite section. We get to kind of talk about how we dream forward and how we imagine some of these things in the future. So, I mean, take a few seconds and kind of dream with us. And what does Summertime by George look like in, 15, 20 years?
Or maybe at the district level as it's already grown too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would hope that other clubs will find ways that work best for their community. Everybody likes music. I'll tell you, especially in the summertime, and there's nothing better than to be out at a concert. I remember the Armadillos, which is always our most popular band, gets 20,000 people. And at the end of last year's show, we have a video of it, got 20,000 people with their cell phones lit up, like back in my day with Woodstock, we didn't use cell phones, I'll tell you. And just everybody having a great time. My goal would be that we continue with summertime. It continues to grow and raise the money that helps our fund our signature projects. The other thing is just the transition. There are so many key roles there, whether it's the band selection committee, whether it's the person that helps coordinate security, the person that helps get the sponsors, the person that coordinates setup and takedown. Here's another thing out of summertime. For a lot of us, in order to help us, the tech football team helps us with setup. And those young lads come after practice and they pick up those big picnic tables and everything. And then we give them cookies and ice cream. And we have a community leader talk to them about leadership.
Yeah.
And about community service. That's just another thing that Summertime by George has all these collaborations and partnerships. Mm-hmm. And then for takedown at night, about 9:30, we have Boy Scout troop and leaders who help with takedown, although everybody else jumps in and everybody does the takedown. So I hope, you always worry you don't want to burn people out. You don't want the same 20% that are doing 80% of the work to get burned out. So my aspiration is that the next group of people will go and will take these things on, and that's what's happening. I mean, I'm the event coordinator for all of them, and I've got people that are working with me, and they will take over, because why should I have all the fun? They should have all the fun too.
Fun. I like how you call it fun. Work. Fun.
Oh yeah.
You gotta enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
Thursdays, I'm pretty tired. But I'm also excited about the way the high school Interact members, this will be their second year of doing it. All this year's graduating seniors plan to come and help out at every one of them. And I have a feeling when they come back from college, they're going to want to help out too.
Yeah, that's going to be a really nice source of, groups of people that are helping, that it seems to be growing at a very large rate. So it'll be kind of fun to figure out what the next iteration of their involvement looks like. Or do they become a little bit more involved in the actual planning because there's so many of them? I mean, it was really fun interviewing them. The energy that they have is endless, and it's like, go nuts.
Here's the thing. You ask about my aspirations for Rotary and everything. It's helping people who are our future, whether it's preschools for success. I just I picked up our Interact incoming president, who was at the RILA, the Rotary Youth Leadership Academy. Mm-hmm. And he was there for 5 days, leadership thing. He was so excited about it. But to have all those 70 young people in that room with the energy and the excitement. And then as he was walking out, one of the counselors said to him, "Okay, Braden, now go change the world."
I love it.
And I thought, and whether it's preschool for success, whether it's Interact Club, whether it's our new Rotary members, our Rotaractors, those young leaders, 18 to 35, that's what I love to see. That's what I love to see about Rotary. There's this kind of, that is, Rotary is energy, Rotary is excitement, and let's all hope that they change the future.
Yeah, I agree. Well said.
You know, one thing, as you've talked through all this, that I come back to, like you came back, I didn't get to Rotary early on in life, but most of the people we've interviewed and talked to had an interaction with Rotary, whether they were part of something younger in life. And so I think even all this interaction, whether it's from the preschool level up to, some of the stuff you're doing with Summertime by George, how many more people will actually be involved with Rotary and serving, that's going to last for a long time because you're engaging with people so young.
Yeah, I agree.
That's been interesting.
I had one of the high school students who's going to, I think it's the U of M, And she said, I don't know if they have a Rotary Club. And then there's a pause. And she goes, well, if they don't, I'll start one.
I love it. I love that. I love that. Just well, let's just make it happen. Whatever. It's no big deal.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
something that you'd mentioned earlier, you were talking about the bands and these crowds of, 20, 30, 40,000 people. Did they ever come up to you after like, that was the biggest crowd I've ever played for?
That could be. I know even the warm-up acts are really excited because not too many of them have the opportunity. By the early parts, there's probably 5,000-10,000 people have shown up. We've never had 30 or 40,000 people. Probably the most we've had at any one concert is 20,000.
But I put it in the universe. It's going to happen this year.
It's fine. There you go. I think that, but I think every one of the bands looks forward to playing "Summertime" by George.
Sure.
Even the ones that do a lot of touring and stuff. We had some new bands last year, two of which are coming back, Free and Easy, which is a really great show band. And then the DAP Squad, which does a lot of funk and R&B. And I know that they were calling us to come and do Summertime by George because they had such a great time. Doing it. The stage is fantastic. We spoil them. We do everything we can. We also have a singer-songwriter night. And last year it was Michael Shine. This year it's a fellow named John King, who the young people looked up how many streams he had and how many views and all this other stuff. And they say it's national. Because we do try to honor original music for
Sure.
at least one of the concerts. And then also we're going to have our local School of Rock is going to perform in the tavern on that night too. So it's lots of fun. At one time, the person who was coordinating the bands told me that they had requests or had listened to 250 bands to pick the 12 or 14 that we have.
Wow. That's a lot.
People know it's a great venue to play.
One question that we didn't ask you earlier that I just love the answer to is, a lot of our listeners are not members of Rotary, but they are seeking service opportunities. What bit of encouragement would you give them in terms of, they're looking to get involved in something? Like, what would you say to them?
I would say the best thing to do is check either on the website or the Facebook for the Rotary Club in your community, or the Interact Club, or the Rotaract Club in your community, and contact them and come to a meeting and just see what's going on. Find out from the club members what projects they're working on, and that it works both ways. Rotarians have to get out there and really reach out to people, and when they're having stuff, have information or somebody delegated who can provide the right answers if people want to get involved. On Preschool for Success, we had a number of people join our Preschool for Success committee who now have since joined Rotary because they just were so impressed with it. Dave Bentruth, the retiring Wade Park police chief, was so impressed with the work that we were doing with Pathways for Youth that he became a member of Rotary. He's now handling programs and is also coordinating the expansion of our Cop House program. So,
yeah, it seems to be contagious. I mean, it really is. And I mean, doing good and creating community and finding people's, helping them feel involved and heard and saw. I mean, I think that's palatable for everybody, right? Like, I mean, everybody.
What we always hear is all starts with service.
Service.
Yep, and everything we've talked about today kind of has gone through that.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about meetings very much, or some of the stuff that Rotary's thought about outside of service, and it really starts with service.
John, you've been an amazing guest today, and we've got about 40 seconds.
40 seconds.
40
wow,
seconds. So last words of wisdom, because you've been just showering us with it this entire interview.
Well, I always go back to the Rotary's motto of service above self and the four-way test. I can't tell you how many speakers will come, and before they start talking about their program, they'll say, you know what? That four-way test is really fantastic. I wish everybody would adopt that as a code of values. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it goodwill and better friendships? And is it beneficial to all? And when you think about it, That's an awfully good way to live your life, you know?
10 seconds or so.
Okay.
I'll start ramping. So go whenever you're ready.
And it's a great way to end the show. Thank you so much, John Bodette, for being on our show. Chad?
Thanks for coming. Stop searching.
And start serving.
All right.
It's hard
Guys,
to do.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know. You're kind of going in cold to do that.